Okay, Tzorayim Tov, everybody. We are continuing in the next section of Bayam Darkecha, rolling right along. We have learned Avas Yisrael. We have learned about eating, Bitol, and now we go to the opposite. And we're on page Ayin Vav. It's a relatively short chapter. It's on the topic of Ga'ava, arrogance. And the little preface says, Hamida hamatsuya beyoser, hamazika beyoser agaiva. The midah that is most often found and the most damaging for a person is arrogance. Shashirish shall call amida soros. It's the root of all evil midos. Vimamish avi avos hatuma. It's literally the grandfather of all tuma. And it's worthwhile to make every possible effort in order to cleanse oneself from it. So Perek Aleph, the first chapter, there's only 2 chapters here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, very short. Darkecha hamilchama, the pathway of the battle. How do you fight your arrogance? So if you're not arrogant, you don't have to listen. And if you think you're not arrogant, you don't have to listen, then for sure you have to listen. Okay. Aleph, hisboinenus, reflection. First thing you have to do is learn and reflect on this concept and to understand the falseness of arrogance. Kigon, she's voting, for example, should think, there's no such thing as a creature that's on its own. But rather, he needs at every moment mercy from Hashem. He gives life and existence to everything that is his, every moment. If you know you have no existence other than Hashem, consequently, what's there to be arrogant about? As the pasuk says, Adam lahevel, doma, person's, is like nothing, is air, nothing. Shein lo kim itzan osmo. The human being has no existence in and of itself. Ubechol atzlochasav yisponein, and with every success, he should reflect on the fact shakol shefa shel Hashem yisborach. This is all from the divine flow of Hashem. And that's what gives man everything. Gam Yisponish should also how far away you are from perfection. Even if you're a big righteous person, you call Malcolm still in relation to the perfection of Hashem, there's nobody there. Nobody's got perfection when you relate to Hashem. Certainly any regular person should think that way. Even if a person was a little bit of the service of fear and love and tveikus, is very far away from perfection. Let's see the bottom 2 footnotes. And the truth is, what's the source of gaiva? Is when a person compares himself to other people who are less than him. He looks at other people, the guy doesn't know as much Torah as I know. He doesn't have the same midas as I know. V'nir lo, and would appear to him, shebiyachas alehem hu tov. In relationship to them, he's good. So a lot of us, could look at the non-Jewish world, that a vast majority of them are like totally immoral. So we can figure, listen, compared to them, we're pretty good. Compared to secular Jews, we're pretty good. But what if you start looking well in relation to people that are greater than you? And all the more so, when you reflect on your obligation to Hashem, immediately you will see how distant you are from the desired perfection. Kuf Dalet. But you shouldn't fall and get weakened from this. The fact that you're far away from perfection, don't let that get you down. You should enter into tshuva from the one side. You should be happy with your portion on the other side. And if you grab onto the concept properly, you can increase your cleaving to Hashem. The opposite. From the deficiency, you should be able to feel more how you're nothing. Therefore, you're going to want to cleave more to Hashem and be incorporated Him, because that's where you get any sense of reality. You know, by yourself, it's nothing, but with Hashem, you become the vessel of the light of Hashem, which is an incredibly wonderful place to be in, as opposed to a nothing. Okay, so that's the beginning. You need to have some really good reflection of who and what you are. Be very honest with yourself. That's section 1. Section 2, the solution to arrogance is dveikus, is cleaving to Hashem. What does he mean? After a person understands why he doesn't need to be arrogant, and he makes efforts to not be arrogant, in action, it's hard. You know you should be humble, but it's hard to be humble. Why? Because ga'ava, arrogance, comes by itself. It's a natural feeling to have, to think that you're great. And sometimes it appears something you feel there's no way I could get out of this. I'm so stuck to gaiva, I don't want to get out of it. Footnote kuf hey at the bottom. Certainly, someone who really works hard on this, will purify himself. And will be saved many times from arrogance. Or his arrogance will be made much smaller. However, sometimes there's no way to defeat the arrogance totally with your logic. Because there always can remain inside a person's heart that little point of somethingness. And using natural intellect, he can't get out of it. Because it's coming from his essence. It's part of, a person has some sort of self-respect, self-esteem. It's hard to make yourself totally nothing. As you're a creature who does things in the world. So something it's very hard. You can't always get out of that gaiva with all the thinking in the world. So what do you do then? Now, the truth is, Hashem wants us to fight our arrogance again and again and again. And to keep reflecting time and time again. There's nothing to be arrogant about. And that person will grow and grow. The more you think you have nothing to be arrogant about. And Hashem is happy. With the degree that a person fights with his Yitzhar. Okay, so number 1 is just keep fighting. Keep fighting. However, but we have to add a very fundamental point. That this knowledge will bring a person to a very high place, mamish into a new sphere, which is very important. It's a very important point in Chassidus now. You need to know, shekol mida ra, every bad mida that exists, he be'etzem or kadosh, it's essentially a holy light. It's a nitzotz eloki, it's a divine spark. It is so divine, but shemachusa b'klipa, but it's hidden with the shell. But the essence is good and holy. El shumelubash u'metzuyar. But it is enclosed and pictured with a bad picture. It's a disguise. You've got a holy energy, incredibly holy energy, that's being misdirected and it manifests itself in an ugly way. Now you have to strip away the evil. Hide from that evil. And enter and just feel the good that is really inside over there. With the following understanding, essentially, yesh kan davar tov. There is something good here. But the Yetzer is covering this up. If you need to know, every bad midah, know what is its root of holiness. And therefore, when the bad midah wakes up, yeda, you know, loli meshachar. Don't go after that. And don't be drawn after and follow the garment that's covering it, the klipa. Go into the true light that's really there. Don't stay on the outside, go on the inside. Okay, so we know, for example, lusts and all that kind of stuff, taiva, which is terrible, but it's a holy klipa that's being covered up. It's a holy klipa of chesed. And if you would just jump into the chesed, the guy would go away. Okay? So then we got jealousy. We got all kinds of other anger and things like that. That is a misdirection of gvura, of control. Instead of controlling myself, I have to control others. Now we come to gaiva. Gaiva shrosha b'midas tiferes. Ga'ava is rooted in the third of the spheros. It's tiferes. And what is the essence of tiferes? So we've said many times, there's many ways of defining all these midas. Tiferes is the healthy blend between chesed and gvura simultaneously, which could manifest as rachamim, as mercy. But the essence of tiferes, the essence of tiferes is cleaving to Hashem. And if you look in footnote Kufav, he's going to say, this really is something, we talked a lot about it in another place, so we're not going to talk about it now. So now is not the subject. Why is it rooted in Tiferes and Dveikus? But we'll just leave it at that for now. Therefore, Hadveikus, Pisra and Lakaiva is the solution to Gaiva is Dveikus. The only way you can get out of the Gaiva is to get to the core of where the Gaiva is misdirected from, and that's Lidavek Bo Yisbarach, to cleave to Hashem. In other words, as we've said so many times, because Rabbi talks about all this farm right about it. If you don't use the meat in the right place, it has to come out in the wrong place. So the trick is use the meat in the right place. You won't need to satisfy the manifestation of that meat. And he's telling us, the tzaddik is telling us, that really Tiferes and cleaving to Hashem, that's the root of Gaiva. But it's misdirected. Because listen, Gaiva means you have something to be Baal Gaiva about, yeah? So if you really are clinging to Hashem and you've got a lot of power, remember, if you're a Kli of Hashem, outwardly, there's a lot of success there. If you're a Kli for Hashem, there's going to be a lot of success. Now you're just forgetting to connect to Hashem, so you look at the success. That's the klipa without the essence. So now, if you would just focus on, the success is because I'm totally connected to Hashem. And it's all Hashem. And you have that focus in Hashem, then why in the world do you want to be arrogant? You've already satiated the holy energy of that. And that's how you get out of it, to Davik Hashem. As it says in Kuf Zayin, the first halacha in Shulchan Aruch, the Ramah brings down, Shivis Hashem l'negdi tamid zeh klal gadol b'Torah malas tzadikim. Having Hashem in front of me at all times, that's the big rule in Torah and growth of tzadikim. And the Vilna Gaon writes, v'zeh kol malas tzadikim, and that's the whole virtue of all tzadikim, which appears, shezu ha'mayla ha'yechidah. That's the only virtue The primary virtue that will make you a tzaddik and to stand up to tests is dveikus. That's how you do it. Okay. Now, therefore, right when you begin to feel the ugly head of gaiva waking up inside of you, begin to say, what wonderful guy I am. Right away, right away, you should enter the world of cleaving to Hashem. And to feel that Hashem is with you. Very strongly, with your whole heart. Meaning, to feel Hashem is right here. He's present. And to feel how I am connected to Hashem, with a great hugging and yearning for Hashem. Once you're going to feel that, there's no place for the guy over here. And then he tells us the mystical understanding, which will be on many of us, just in the footnote there in Kuf Ches. You should think of Hashem's name, the Yud Hey Vav Hey, with the vocalization of the Cholam, with the Cholam, the O, Ho, Shu Hashem Hashachas Tiferes, and that's the name of Hashem that fits into Tiferes. That's beyond us over here. Okay. And to think about the Dveikus at that time, I really don't have to go into that right now. It's a little beyond us. Anyway, but the antidote is Dveikus, because that is expressing the Tiferes in the way it's meant to be expressed. When the Tiferes is expressed properly, there's no need for Tiferes to be expressed improperly. The Yarech Bar Goshes at Dveikus, and he should extend that feeling of dveikus, as much as possible, until he feels that the arrogance is vanishing. And he's filled with the light of cleaving to Hashem. So now, he's saying over here, look at Kuftas. And in this area, it's not that you're just pushing away the gaiva. And he succeeded not to be about gaiva. That's not only that, but you repaired the gaiva. Why? You took the inner power right out of the gaiva. Because you took the nitzos hakodesh, you took the holy spark that's been misdirected, and you're using it in the right way. And you've acquired a higher level of cleaving to Hashem. So the Tiferes Mida is happy. It's being used up. There's no gaiva. And what's the reason, just based on simple understanding, is why does Dveikus break the gaiva? Obvious. When you feel that Hashem is here, mamish, it has to lower your arrogance. Because you have to reflect, hello, Hashem is Hashem is over here. And who am I compared to him? Everything I have. That Yisrael wants to be arrogant about Hakol Shalai, it all belongs to Hashem. What if a person says, I'd like to, I have to do some business transactions. I have $5 million. I need to put it somewhere for a couple of days. Can I put it in your account that's got exactly 17 cents? You say, sure. And now you look at your bank, I have 15 million and 17 cents. Whoa, I'm the greatest. I'm a multimillionaire. No, you're not. Right. And so what's there to be arrogant about? They just got to realize that's everything else in your life is the same way. And even if maybe I made some effort and I did some work and I did acquire something, but compared to Hashem, man's nothing. Next to the giant, the power of the ants is nothing. It can be the heavyweight champion ant of the world. But if you know that there's a giant, you have nothing to say. But let's bring an analogy to this. Let's say a simple guy. He knows the aleph base. But the people in his vicinity don't know anything. They don't even know this. Oh, I think I'm much more important than them. But then when he stands next to the big Gadol Torah, he feels he's mamash nothing. Now, let's say even if he thinks that, he still thinks he's something special. Because I know letters. He's only a fool. Because compared to the great one, he doesn't know anything. Okay. And if the kol shekain, all the more so, kasher gamis ma'id yosef rachash rak b'kochos hagadol. Especially if what he does know, he got from the bigger person. If the bigger person taught him the olive base, he for sure isn't going to think he's better than the bigger person. So, Derek, I'll be a pshat. It's just a simple understanding to explain this. Dvekus lowers down the gaiva temperature. But as we have explained, Hadvegas he had truthful gaiva, but really it's the medicine, the antidote to gaiva, the ikr, primarily in a deep way. Because karkosha is gaiva, because the feeling of gaiva, he's a storish shalitza kodesh shel, because all it is when the spark, the holy spark of Tiferes is concealed, then you think gaiva. But once you've removed the concealment, the gaiva cannot exist at all. Back upstairs, nun based postscript. He says, still, but don't be discouraged, don't be depressed if your gaiva returns. Every time the gaiva comes back, you go back and cling to Hashem. You should know and believe. Every time you fix totally a little bit, and then the gaiva comes afterwards. It's not the same gaiva. You worked hard to knock out the gaiva, and you're really feeling humble, and then all of a sudden the gaiva comes back. It's not the same gaiva. It's brand new. But Yossi, it's a little bit higher challenge. He who works on this, year in the flows, you'll see wondrous things as time passes. As time passes. Okay. And look what he says in Kuf Yud, always the default position to all these issues. So the real essential repair of gaiva is through faith. Gaiva essentially is a slight type of heresy. He thinks he's an independent reality. He forgets Hashem's reality. But gaiva kam madregas, there's many levels in gaiva. It's only levels in how much you're forgetting Hashem, God forbid. How big of a Baal Gaiva are you is depending on how much you forget about Hashem. The more you forget about Hashem, the more you're Baal Gaiva. The more you remember Hashem, the less you're Baal Gaiva. So that emunah becomes a real critical point. V'zev ma'ashe hisbar, and that's what's been explained. Shetikana Gaiva hu likonas l'dveikus. That's why the repair of Gaiva is to enter the dveikus. Ki dveikus iba etzem emunah chazak emunah, because dveikus really is essentially very strong emunah. To the degree that you really, really believe in the reality of Hashem, who margish Hashem ito, he feels that Hashem is with it, and he cleaves to it. Like the same, in loving each other the same way. Like a hug, which is all part of the midah of Tiferes, because you hug with the torso. When you hug somebody, okay, where are you really? Remember, chesed, right hand, gvura, left hand, Tiferes, torso. Hug, torso to torso. So that's the hug that you have. You feel like you're hugging Hashem. How could you ever have any gaiva? And through that dveikus, he goes out of the primary arrogance. Because arrogance is That's when the person thinks he's so special. And God forbid, as Hashem is he forgets Hashem who created him, and he gives man the power to have success. Vatikin was there for the repair of Dvekas, is cleaving. Where the memory of Hashem is kol kach chazak, so strong, at shemamish margish also imo, he mamish feels he's with him. And he connects with a great desire. And of course, you're going to wonder, how do I get to Dvekas? Well, guess what? That's going to be the next chapter in the book. So if you're thinking, well, okay, that's wonderful. Can you tell me anything more about Dvekas? I will when we finish this chapter in the book. Next PS, L'malam madregas hadvekas, higher than the level of Dvekas, yesha madregas habitul shispar b'komo, is the levels of bitul that have been explained in this place. Avol kamosha hispar, but as has been explained, Keneged gaiva, when we're trying to hit gaiva straight on, yeshikonis dafka ledvekas, we have to dafka hit onto dvekas. Dahainu hargoshish and idovik im Hashem yisparach benochach. You have to mamish feel that you're clinging to Hashem who's in front of you. Vani imo yachad, I'm with him together. Vani nid bakbo mitzcharim, I'm cleaving and connecting with him. But even if you have merited to reach a level of beetle, but if there's some gaiva in the beetle, then we have to go back to the level of dvekas, and work in it. You have to have kavana in the name of the sphere of Tiferes until you feel that you've been healed. Don't be broken saying, hello, I already came to beetle. How do I fall to gaiva? I don't say it. I did beetle. I totally understood that I'm nothing compared to Hashem. I totally understood I'm a kliya of vessel Hashem. And how did I become a Baal Gaiva one day? You have to know, that's the way it goes. There's ups and downs. And every falling you have, you're able to make repairs even on a deeper level. It's all part of the growth process. And the deepest part of this concept is because you have grown, and you reached a certain level of beetle, you're able to elevate higher sparks. You can even go more. And those sparks should not flow amuk yoser, but those sparks have gone way down. Remember, there's sparks all over the place that need to be scooped up. And, some sparks, you have to be very powerful to scoop up certain sparks. And only when you're strong enough can you scoop up the sparks. But where are the sparks? The sparks are deep down in the mud. Then you're able to go back. In other words, as you get stronger, Hashem gives you tougher missions. So what's tougher mission? It'll take more of this world into Hashem's realm. In other words, to take things that seem to be very far away as a kli of Hashem. So, if you're totally useless, you haven't done anything, Hashem doesn't give you much work to do. But once he sees you're accomplishing in beetle, then he says, oh, well, I need you to bring some sparks from a very distant place and bring them up to me. And how's that going to happen? It's going to happen when you are aware of how great you are. You've really done a lot of amazing spiritual things. And you've grown. When a person really honestly says, Baruch Hashem, I've really grown. I'm really proud of myself. I feel that I've controlled so many things in my life. But then automatically there's going to be a yetzer for gaiva, because now you have something to be about gaiva about. You first said, I have nothing to be about gaiva about. I don't do anything. But now look, I became a really good kli. So now you got a place to be a bigger Baal Gaiva. Oh, now that's really hard, because now there's even something that could fool anybody to think they have something to be a Baal Gaiva about. But that's a spark. Now that means you fall. Now you got to go deep, 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 and even pick up that Gaiva. When there's something, this person starts off, he's arrogant for no reason. He's just arrogant. And he's just stupid. Then he gets smarter. He says, I have no reason to be a Baal Gaiva. And then he works on not being a Baal Gaiva. He's so humble. He's amazing. He says, wow, look what I've accomplished. You didn't accomplish something. And then you got to realize still you didn't accomplish anything. And you got to take that and give that back to Hashem. And that's the deeper point he's saying. These are nitosos gedolim yoser that have fallen even deeper. Now, when you're at that point where you've elevated, now those new nitzotzos, those new sparks of gaiva have to be repaired. There's all these deficiencies in the world that have to be repaired. And Hashem is wanting them to get repaired. But it's only what to repair if there's things that need repair. And now that you reached a certain high level, then a higher level of gaiva that only a really big tzaddik will have to deal with. And then he has to take that gaiva and squash it and bring it back to Hashem. Okay, let's stop it over here. That was the first battle to have. So, and then we'll get on to other methods of acquiring it. Okay, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi.
See you later. I guess on.